the time bank and creating a foundation, a solid foundation for content creators, artists, entertainers, people that want to bridge this content online and also have access to resources that will sustain them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So your question was, how do we build that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's easy. One step at a time, one relationship at a time. Our mission statement at the Karmic Margin Call Project is that we develop these relationships, one heart, one relationship, one fellowship at a time. Okay, so by the old way of doing things, one person, an entrepreneur, is, they take on this heavy burden and responsibility, to develop 1 million followers or whatever. It's not necessary. You build it by leveraging what is already in front of you and what is already working, because 2 leads to 2. 1 leads to 2, 2 leads to 4, 4 leads to 8. So you don't have to be responsible for, massive amounts of exposure. Okay? If the relationship is real, if the relationship has meaning, the influence will double itself, and it only has to double itself 20 times to reach 1 million people. And everybody has that power. The reason why most of us don't tap into that power is because we take for granted what is right in front of us. And, the person you love, or the person that you resonate the most with, or the person that you feel the most creative with, is infinitely worth more, than somebody who's trying to compete with you for $1 million, building a business or whatever. So it happens one step at a time, and really, really going deep, really continuing to nurture what's right in front of you.
Let's take a moment to talk about competitiveness, because I'm not really, me personally, I'm not a competitive person. I'm just who I am, and I'm just being who I am online. This is who I am.
Absolutely.
I'm not really trying to compete with anybody. However, there is a huge competition online, and so let's talk about that for just a moment.
Yeah. Now, when you say there's a huge competition online, how is that manifested for you, or how have you experienced that competition, Amelia?
I've just noticed that there's, even though social media, there's no monetary, even when there's no monetary incentive in place, I've noticed that there's still, people are just, they seem to have this innate nature about themselves, which is, very competitive. Even if it comes to groups, or the size of your group, or how many people you're reaching or touching, or influencing, there just seems to be this ominous presence that wants to limit your capacity. When there's just limitless possibilities out there for individuals. And there just seems to be this ominous presence online and within human nature as well. I don't want to say that it's
absolutely,
individually, even because we've been, as adults, we're conditioned for survival to compete in nature. However, even when there's no incentive or no reward available, people still seem to feel that nature instead of cultivating the relationship like you're talking about or referencing in abstract.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. Are you finished?
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, what comes up for me as you're describing that, Amelia, is that in my experience, and I was one of those, as a young man, I was very, very competitive to the point where, I've almost destroyed myself over the competitiveness. And some people might call that toxic masculinity, but, it's present in male and females. Something usually happens, when somebody is that competitive, or they give in to that ominousness of the, of competitiveness. Either they die trying, or they hit rock bottom and they have a catharsis where something opens up. And I've learned to be patient with that, honestly, because it provides resistance, and resistance can be valuable. Resistance,
sure, I agree.
There's two kinds of competitiveness too. I mean, there's extrinsic competitiveness where you don't understand yourself, you don't love yourself, you're still trying to figure things out, and you express that aggression, you express that disharmony on another person. But there's also intrinsic competitiveness, which I think is healthy, where you do understand yourself. You do understand that emotions are things. Emotions have value.
Yeah. Exculpatory and inner as well. It's so crazy because, you're talking about this stuff because I'm thinking all of this to myself as well. As I'm enduring it online.
Absolutely. And the thing is, when you compete with somebody who is extrinsically competitive like that, you're getting pulled into their game. And that's something that, there's value to that. I think there's a lot that you can learn from that. But then eventually you come to the point where it's not a game that can be won. It's just a game that, you might get temporary gratification from winning, but it's not sustainable. The most financially successful people in the world are miserable. And that's why we're living in a society where our political and corporate leaders are only functioning at a 5-year-old emotional level. I will stand by that statement, and it's time that they grow the hell up.
Emotional IQ, and I think I plan to have a show on that in the future. I think it's important as we move forward online. Oh my gosh. Will you come back on the show?
Absolutely.
For a series, for more, for 2021, I plan to have you on the show regularly.
Excellent. Anytime. Yeah, and we're coming down to the wire here. We've got 9 minutes left according to my clock.
Oh, okay. So, huge things up and coming after this online radio podcast. We are streamlining the campaign, and we're going to be talking a lot more in the future about the virtual time bank.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And one thing I do want to insert here is that I am creating a documentary film about it, about the time bank, and about this initiative. So the documentary film this year will be chronicling the emergence of our 32 I guess you can call them board members, people who are helping establish it. So I call them thought leaders, change agents, and influencers. Amelia, you are certainly one of them. And if you are open to it, I would like to invite you to be one of those original members as well too.
Wow, change maker. You got it.
Change maker, yep. Change agent, thought leader, influencer. And that's what you have been. That's what you have role modeled. That's what you have championed. For as long as I've known you. And I think I've been listening and been kind of an observer for about 4 years now. Yeah, I think it's been about 4 years that I've been watching.
So cool. So you've pretty much been there since the inception.
So I would love to invite you to be a part of that documentary film that we're making.
Yeah, I'm honored. I am absolutely honored. Micheal Shuman, thank you so much. You're so amazing, such a gentleman, and I am just thrilled with today's podcast.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. It was very inspiring for me.
So listen, the website and let's talk. Before we go off the air,
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the leadership program briefly.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Oh, the leadership
Hello?
program on the
I hear you.
Hi. I don't know if we discussed this before the show. I'm sorry if I'm catching you off guard. Maybe but there is an application on your website for the leadership program.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So karmicmargincall.com, Karmic, CALL, I'm sorry, Karmic Margin Call, so KarmicMargincall.com takes you to my personal blog, roguecounselor.com, and there is an option there that's click on an application. So anybody who is interested in exploring these relationships, exploring the time bank, they can just click on that, fill out basic information. I do ask for 2 references as well too. It's free to join the time bank, and we explore these relationships, and we explore the potential of creating classes, creating art, creating businesses together. So that's that's all at karmicmargincall.com. Click here for application, and that will take you to the time bank entry.
So excited. Micheal, thank you so much for coming on the Portal to Justice today. Is there anything else? Oh, you want to include your website URL for the listeners?
Karmicmargincall.com is that's it. That'll take you to my personal blog, which is roguecounselor.com as well. So there's all kinds of there's all kinds of videos there. There's a lot of my thoughts there. I do have two presentations on there as well too, which really kind of gets more into the specifics and the nuts and bolts about the Karmic Margin Call project. There's the 5-year plan for reverse engineering the economy, and then there's the 3 roadblocks to socioeconomic equality. So those are some of the presentations I direct a lot of first-time listeners to.
All right, awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to add this afternoon before we completely close out?
No, it's just that this was great. I hope we've inspired a few minds here today, inspired a few hearts, and please reach out to me, reach out to Amelia, and let's build this. Let's build this. One heart, one relationship, one fellowship at a time.
All right. Yeah. And updates on your website coming soon. Everybody, this was Micheal Shuman, the founder of the Karmic Margin Call Project. Micheal, thank you so much for coming on. Stay on the line. Stay on the line. I'm going to conclude the show, but I'm going to have Micheal back on the show again, and I'm so excited. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been another episode of Portal to Justice, the window to the truth, and to be continued.
The last ever dolphin. So long, and thanks for all the fish.